Raider Nation, I've got a big question for you. Who is truly the best player on the Las Vegas Raiders right now? For the first time in years, that's a tough one to answer. And that's actually a good thing. In today's video, I'm ranking every single player on the Raiders from #91 to #1. That's right, worst to best, based on overall impact, position value, and how much they can help us win this season. With the arrival of Pete Carroll and John Spytek, the Silver and Black look like a completely new team, from the front office to the field. We've seen fresh talent, fresh energy, and a whole new mindset. Before we dive into the rankings, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and hit the bell icon so you never miss breaking Raiders news. Let's keep this Raider Nation family growing strong. Now, back to business. One of our loyal viewers asked me a tough one. Can you rank every player on the Raiders roster from worst to first? You asked. I delivered. To make these rankings, I looked at three key things: impact on the Raiders, value of their position in today's NFL, my honest 2025 season expectations assuming players stay healthy. Now let's get into the early names from #91 to #82. I know some of you might raise your eyebrows at a few of these picks, and that's okay. The biggest question mark at the bottom of the list? #91, Carter Bradley, QB. He's an undrafted free agent. While he's got potential, I just don't see him making the final 53-man roster. It's always tough ranking guys this low, but I've got to keep it real with you. Now let's keep moving through the list. This next batch of players took some serious thinking. I ranked them not just on talent, but on positional value and my own scouting notes from before the draft. Let's kick things off with the #81 to #72 range. A name that immediately stands out? Lokahi Paoli, the international player who came in as a defensive tackle and then switched to offensive line. Honestly, this guy was one of the toughest players to evaluate. He's raw, but you can see the effort. With his size and versatility, he just might carve out a role on this roster. Another one to keep an eye on, Anthony "Tank" Booker at defensive tackle. Don't be surprised if he turns some heads in training camp. Now moving up the board, #71 to #67. One guy who might seem a bit low here is Colin Johnson, but the real spotlight here is on Isaiah Franklin, the undrafted receiver from Illinois. When we spoke to Dante Thornton Jr., he couldn't stop praising Franklin's toughness and work ethic. He's not the fastest guy, let's be honest, but he plays physical and brings that gritty edge you love to see in camp battles. Now let's roll from #66 to #62. This section includes Mello Dodson, a cornerback who impressed many during off-season activities. I know some might question why Dylan Lobb is sitting at #64, some fans are high on him. But personally, I'm still not fully convinced. Lobb has potential, but he'll need to prove he can hang when the pads come on. As for Dodson, he's a sleeper, a legit dark horse candidate to grab a roster spot. Now let's look at players ranked 61 to #57. This group has a few guys in interesting spots. Chris Smith, yes, we're working on updating his profile picture, has potential but is still unproven. Same with Andre Carter II, who some thought could have gone higher in the draft a couple years ago. One name I'm really watching here, Jalen Smith, a linebacker who joined during rookie minicamp. He wasn't a big name, but he quietly made the roster. The challenge? With veterans like Jermaine Pratt, Ellendon Roberts, and Devin White ahead of him, he'll have to fight hard to stick around. As we move higher up the list, the competition gets intense, and so do the decisions. Let's start with #56 to #52. One player who might be reaching his final chance in silver and black is Chris Smith. He's had flashes, but this might be the moment that decides his future. At #53, I place long snapper Jacob Bobenmoyer, not the flashiest role, but he's a lock to make the roster. That pushed Zamir White just outside the top 53, which wasn't an easy call. White has potential, but the backfield is getting crowded. Keep your eye on Jawar Jordan at #52, my top-ranked UDFA. His quickness and vision could earn him a surprise role if he shows out in camp. Another name rising in the background? Kadir Ismail. At 6'6", 215 pounds, he's got the frame of a tight end and the hands of a wide receiver. There's some quiet buzz around him, especially with the Raiders looking to run 3 tight end formations. He's one of those players who could come out of nowhere and steal a spot. Now let's move up to hash 51 through hash 47. You'll see JJ Pegues, a day 3 draft pick at defensive tackle, and Caleb Rogers, a developmental offensive lineman with some upside. These are the kind of picks that may not shine now, but they're being groomed for depth. Then there's Cameron Richardson, a name that popped up just before camp. Wide receiver Dante Thornton Jr. spoke highly of him, and that caught my attention. At hash 42, Aiden O'Connell stands firm as one of the more solid backup QBs in the league. He's not flashy, but he's reliable, something every team needs behind center. Now from hash 41 to hash 37, things get tricky. Devin White, a big name, but still somewhat of a wild card. Some fans are confident, others are skeptical. Alex Kappa and Jordan Meredith are battling for a death role on the offensive line, while Thayer Munford is also in that mix. Ian Thomas looks like the likely third-string tight end, rounding out the position group. Next up, 36 through 32, a younger group with some excitement building. I'm especially watching Tommy Mellott on special teams. He's fast, aggressive, and could be a game-changer in coverage. John Ojukwu is entering year 2 and needs to show growth. Lonnie Johnson Jr. is new to the Raiders but brings needed experience to the secondary. Meanwhile, Amari Gaynor, another UDFA, has been standing out during off-season workouts, especially in pass coverage. Cody Lindenberg, a 7th-round pick, still has room to grow, but he's physical and smart. Then from hash 31 to hash 27, you start to see some real opportunity. Tonka Hemingway made a small leap up the list. Why? He's starting to get noticed. The coaching staff seems willing to give him reps, and if he takes advantage, he could lock down a rotation role on the defensive line. Now this is where things start getting interesting. One player I really wrestled with while building this list was Thomas Harper. Honestly, a part of me wanted to rank him even higher. When I look at his game and how hard he plays, I find myself wondering, should he be above Raheem Mostert? Above Lecky Fotu? Charles Snowden? But sometimes, you have to trust your gut, and for now, I'm sticking with this order. Now buckle up, because we're about to cross a major line in the rankings. This is where we hit the top 26, and the competition really starts to heat up. Coming in strong are 2 rookies, Dante Thornton Jr. and Jack Beck. Now, some of you might be asking, wait, Beck ranked higher than Thornton? It's a fair question, but here's why. I think Beck is in a slightly better position to contribute early. Teams often give more chances to the guys they drafted, and Beck may benefit from that. Still, don't count out Thornton. His athleticism is wild, and his ceiling is massive. At hash 24, we've got one of the most consistent legs in the game, Daniel Carlson. Then come Isaiah Pola-Mao and Ellendon Roberts at hash 23 and hash 22, both key pieces who bring stability and toughness to their units. And now we break into the top 21. At hash 21, it's time to talk about Tyree Wilson. Entering his 3rd season, this is a pivotal moment. The staff believes in him. Rob Leonard, in particular, sees his breakout potential. This is his chance to prove he can be a true game changer on the edge. Moving to hash 20, we've got Dylan Parham. Some fans are divided on him, but I'm a believer. He's got the rare ability to slide into multiple positions across the offensive line. That kind of versatility is gold in the NFL, and it's why he earns this spot on the list. At hash 19, Yokorian Bennett checks in. He was arguably the Raiders' best corner last season. If he's fully healthy, he might even deserve a higher spot. But since there's still a little uncertainty around his condition, I slotted him here, just behind a rising star. At hash 18, meet Darian Porter. Long, rangy, and ready to step up, he's been impressing the coaching staff and is shaping up to be a strong piece of the secondary this season. Now at hash 17, it's time to talk tight ends. Michael Mayer lands here, and expectations are sky high for him in year 3. With more weapons on the offense this year, he's in a great spot to shine and be a serious red zone threat. His blocking and route running, already NFL level. We're getting close to the top, and this part of the list includes players with major breakout potential. Let's kick it off with hash 16, and that's Eric Stokes, cornerback. Now this was a tough one. He's a former first-rounder who hasn't quite lived up to the hype just yet, but the Raiders are still all in on his upside. He's competitive, physical, and hungry. This new coaching staff under Pete Carroll is known for developing defensive backs, and if Stokes can put it all together, we might finally see that first-round talent shine through. At hash 15, we've got Trey Tucker, wide receiver. Tucker is electric. Every time he touches the ball, something exciting happens. He's entering his third year now, and that's usually when players start to really take off. With a quarterback like Geno Smith throwing to him and a more open offense under Chip Kelly, don't be shocked if he becomes a go-to weapon. Now at hash 14, it's the second-year offensive lineman, DJ Glaze. Glaze might not be making headlines yet, but the team's confidence in him says a lot. They passed on bringing in another big-name lineman this offseason, and instead focused on other areas, which shows they believe Glaze is ready to take on more responsibility. If he stays healthy, he could lock down a starting spot. At 13, we have a key addition to the defense, Jermaine Pratt, linebacker. This guy is the total package: experience, awareness, and the ability to make plays sideline to sideline. He's already the best linebacker on the roster and will likely be the leader of this defense when it comes to tackles and snaps. Smart pickup by the front office. Pratt brings the kind of stability the Raiders have lacked in the middle for years. Now here's where it gets exciting. We're about to jump into the top 12 players on the team, players who are expected to be the core of this new-look Raiders squad in 2025. The talent, the leadership, the production, it all ramps up from here. All right, Raider Nation, this is it. We've reached the top 12, and this tier is all about difference makers, players who will shape the identity of the 2025 Raiders. Let's get right into it with hash 12, Adam Butler, defensive tackle. Quietly consistent, often overlooked, Butler does the dirty work in the trenches. He's not flashy, but he holds the line, disrupts the backfield, and makes the guys around him better. This kind of player doesn't always grab headlines, but coaches love him for a reason. At hash 11, we've got Malcolm Koonce. Coming off an ACL injury, there's a little uncertainty, but make no mistake, if Koonce returns to his 2023 form, this ranking might actually feel too low. He's explosive, smart, and dangerous off the edge. This is a big year for him, and he knows it. Into the top 10 now, hash 10 is Jeremy Chinn. If you're still wondering who replaces Robert Spillane in the heart of this defense, it's Chinn. He's aggressive, rangy, and plays with that fearless mentality. Don't be surprised if he leads the team in tackles by the end of the season. At hash 9, we have one of the most reliable receivers in the game, Jakobi Meyers. Not a single drop last season. Think about that. Now pair that reliability with a more consistent quarterback in 2025, and you've got a recipe for a massively productive year. Sliding in at hash 8 is Christian Wilkins. Yes, injuries have raised some questions, but this guy is a monster when healthy. I'm expecting a full return to form, and when he's at his best, Wilkins clogs lanes, crashes pockets, and anchors this D-line like few can. At hash 7, it's the man in the middle, Jackson Powers Johnson. Tough, nasty, mean, JPJ plays with a chip on his shoulder, and that's exactly what this offensive line needed. He fits this new regime's mindset perfectly. He doesn't just block you. He wants to break your spirit. Now at hash 6, it's quarterback Geno Smith. Yes, Geno's play depends heavily on protection, but that's true for nearly every QB. When he has time, he's sharp, accurate, and clutch. With a stronger O-line and a creative offensive coordinator behind him this year, Geno could sneak into the top 10 quarterback conversation. At hash 5, we've got Colton Miller, the Rock at left tackle. Still looking for that next contract, and he deserves it. He's been a steady protector on the blind side and continues to play at a high level. If this offense is going to hum, Miller will be a huge part of it. Cracking the top 4, meet Ashton Jeanty, the rookie running back who's already turning heads. Drafted at hash 6 overall, Jeanty has all the tools, speed, vision, and strength. There's a reason people are whispering Offensive Rookie of the Year around his name. He's got that kind of potential. This guy is built for stardom. At hash 3, some people might roll their eyes, but it's time we put some respect on A.J. Cole's name. He's not just a punter, he's the best in the business. All pro. Elite stats. You could even argue he's one of the greatest punters in NFL history. And in a field position battle, Cole is a true weapon. Now for the top 2. At hash 2, it's Max Crosby. He's the heart and soul of this team. Relentless, tough, leader. Even while battling injuries, Crosby kept pushing. He's one of the most feared defensive ends in the league, and if he's 100% in 2025, he might just reclaim the top spot on this list. But for now, hash 1 belongs to Brock Bowers. Voted the top tight end in the NFL by his peers, Bowers has already earned elite status without even playing a down in the league. That tells you how good he is. If it came down to choosing between Bowers and Crosby long term, that's the kind of debate that splits a fanbase.